Few stealth games have as unique an identity as Hitman. Almost all stealth games have one thing in common. Being seen by your enemy is a mistake and is to be avoided whenever possible. Stick to the shadows, or cover, or hide an event. But under no circumstances are you to be spotted. Combat, death, or a mission fail are certain to follow. But Hitman focuses more on hiding in plain sight, on stealing people's clothes and blending in. What's a man in a suit with a suitcase? Or a construction worker with a hammer? Or a guard with a handgun? Another element present in most Hitman games is replayability. Ever since Hitman 2, Silent Assassin, not to be confused with Hitman 2, yes, we're still fucking doing this apparently, Hitman games have had ratings at the end of each level that reward avoidance of casualties and minimal detection. In addition to the ratings, most Hitman levels are sandboxes. Instead of linear levels like some other games, Hitman drops into a map, gives you targets or objectives to kill or accomplish, and lets you figure out the rest. These factors combine to create an almost infinitely replayable murder-for-hire experience. And this has never been more true than in the World of Assassination trilogy. These 3 games have dozens of intended ways to complete them, and even more unintended ways. Plus, the content rolls forward, meaning if you own all 3 games, you now have access to 23 levels in one package. And that's before we get to escalations, elusive targets, extra missions, the roguelike freelancer mode, and player-made contracts. Listen, I understand. Sometimes
enough is never enough.
So let's move on to the final frontier in replayability, mods. First, the groundwork. First thing you'll want is simple mod framework. This is one of the easiest mod managers I've used, and other than its fairly long deployment times, this thing is a walk in the park to use. Install it, point it to your mod, and wham bam, play Hitman, you're ready to rock. Most mods I've used are very customizable, and the options can get pretty vast. The mods can even be updated inside the program, which is a super cool feature I wish more mod managers had. And with that out of the way, let's get started. We'll start simple. Heritage UI allows for UI, menu backgrounds, level backgrounds, and more in variations based on Hitman 2016's Alpha, 2016 itself, Hitman 2, Hitman 3, or its own custom layouts based on 2016's red backgrounds. I'm definitely big on the original menus, but I think I like most of the Heritage UI options even more. Especially like the black interaction prompts. It's definitely a slicker look in my opinion. Following a similar vein is Legacy Music. You might think that it just replaces the menu music with 2016's, but not quite. You can choose from 24 different menu tracks, many from older Hitman games, but some from other media. John Wick Suit Up music, GoldenEye music, Red Army music. I'm pretty partial to the Contracts theme, but the Blood Money intro always hits different. If that music affected you spiritually, I have another set of mods for you. First is the classic camera view. This allows you to change your camera to reflect the angles of Hitman 1, 2, or Blood Money, with optional first-person aiming with multiple FOVs. This combined with the Button 2016 Signature Suit mod allows for a pretty gorgeous recreation of Blood Money's aesthetic. If you want to push the aesthetic a bit more, consider the Lighting Ultimate mod. This allows for a multitude of lighting options for different maps, including options to emulate the original 2016 look on certain maps, or Hitman 2 pre-patch, a Vanilla Plus option, and even custom Hollywood option for Berlin and Chongqing. There's also a mod called Time of Day that adds night versions of day maps and day versions of night maps. Unfortunately, I took so long to make this video that it doesn't work for me anymore. There's tons of customizability here, and I'm sure you'll find an option you like better than the vanilla game. While we're talking about audio, Handler Dialogue Earpiece Filter adds a cool radio effect to people in 47's head.
That is Viktor Novikov, head of Sanguine and ringleader of Iago.
Pretty nifty. Before we get to the big stuff, we need to talk about something. Companies make games that are dependent on servers running, but they can't support these servers forever. You can't play the multiplayer for Army of Two the 40th Day, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood through Black Flag, the co-op or multiplayer for Splinter Cell Blacklist, the co-op or multiplayer for Far Cry 3, Time Trials on Mirror's Edge, and in some cases the entire main loop is inaccessible. Titanfall 1 is not playable to my knowledge, but EA still sells it on Steam. As of writing this, the ability to play Helldivers 2 is still removed from over 100 countries. Here's something even worse. What if it's a single-player game, and for no reason other than DRM and leaderboards, you can't progress? Unlocking new weapons, items, outfits, or even playing large amounts of the content in the game. And that's just today. What about in 10 years? 20? 30? These servers are just gonna run forever? If you watched my videos on Tarkov SBT, you might have an idea where this is going. But we'll get there in a minute. A simpler option for keeping this game playable is with offline mode enhanced. Quite simply, previously unavailable content is now available in offline mode, along with some custom missions. As progression is turned off though, you can also use offline unlocker to get access to all the equipment and weaponry you could ever need. These two mods together mean you get all the content you paid for with the equipment you earned, with or without IOI servers. It also means no progression and no challenges. The community has you covered once again with Peacock, not to be confused with Poopcock.
Among Us! enough!
This allows for an emulated custom server on your own machine. Full progression, whether IOI lives or dies. Freelancer, escalations, all of it. Even leaderboards work, and you can complete challenges and unlock gear, as well as adding custom gear and levels without needing to replace the original items. Yeah, I said new levels, we'll get there. The latest release, you can even take your online progress and bring it offline to your Peacock server. That was the main thing keeping me on official servers, and as of writing this, that's finally changing. That being said, let's get to the crazy stuff. If you've ever played Sniper Assassin and thought, I wish these were real levels, this one's for you. Hantu Port has been turned into a full sandbox level with functional cameras, disguises, target paths, and it's surprisingly polished. Obviously some things look a little odd, but it's really sick to have a whole brand new level in a game that I've played so many times. In addition to this, Peacock allows for additional outfits to be added. In the base game, you had to replace an outfit to mod in another one, and that's not the case anymore. But let me take this in a different direction. There was a DLC map added with Hitman 2 that takes place in New York, in a bank. And let's just say that, well, word gets around. Payday outfits in Hitman are pretty cool if you pretend Payday 3 never happened, and even if you aren't a fan, if you run these outfits without the masks, it's still a set of cool looking suits. For that clip, I used live wardrobe to switch my clothes on the fly. It's cool, but it tends to trigger in places that annoy me, so I don't use it. Where do all these clothes go? Presumably in your safe house. Don't you feel stifled in there? All these guns, but you can't shoot them. You have all these bombs, but you can't detonate them. With the liberal safe house mod, you can do all those things, and even move during some cutscenes. But wait, liberal? I ain't no damn liberal. Let me read this mod description. This mod allows you to fully embrace your American pride by preventing you from doing anything other than walking and shooting in your very own safe house. Also, you won't get money back after failing a mission by dying because you don't have insurance. If you're a Sigma and want to escape the matrix of liberal and conservative, consider becoming a gamer instead with the Color Safehouse mod. And I know I just said you're a gamer, so you probably don't have friends, but if you did, you might like Ghost Mode, Hitman 2's multiplayer. Just kidding, its servers got killed and it's fucking dead. Or is it dead? Well, yes, but actually no. Ghost Mode is playable through mods using Steam's invite functionality. This does mean the Epic version is a no-go, but it is usable with the Steam demo, so you can technically play it for free. It'll only cost you 74 gigs. My footage of Ghost Mode is from this video by Volvo Modus, and if you need a tutorial on installing it, it's up there or in the description. If you needed any more evidence for Peacock being necessary, there you go. They said they'd update the Absolution contract servers years ago. How's that going? All right, rapid fire. Let me just throw some more mods I like at you. Baller Pack replaces some of the boring guns you usually not use with cool Terran tactical looking variants that are pretty neat. Better unsilenced pistol sounds and better silenced pistol sounds make shooting dudes in the face significantly more satisfying. This one's a big recommendation. Downright Excessive Naming Project takes a lot of the really repetitive and hard to read names of items and makes them much easier to identify at a glance. Must every suit be called suit? This mod replaces the Napoleon blown apart with a Rick Astley doll that Rick rolls and blows up.
Okay.
And to close it out, if you watched my last video on permadeath, you may be in the mood for this mod, Hardcore Hitman. This is another description I need to read to you.
Listen up, you miserable excuse for a gamer. I can't believe you haven't downloaded the Hardcore Hitman mod for Hitman 3 yet.
What kind of imbecile are you? Are you so void of intelligence that you think playing a game without this mod is even worth your time? Huh, you're a walking joke, my friend. Let me enlighten you about this God-sent modification. The Hardcore Hitman mod takes your pathetic gaming experience and cranks it up to the highest level of frustration imaginable. With the Hardcore Hitman mod, the moment you take a dirt nap in the game, it's game over for you, princess. No second chances, no respawns, just instant closure. It's like the game itself slaps you in the face and says, "You're done, loser! Go back to playing Barbies with your little sister." It's an experience that separates the adults from the crybabies, and clearly you're stuck in the latter category. So here's the deal, Butterfingers. While you're busy fumbling around with your watered-down version of Hitman 3, the rest of us are embracing the true challenge, the exhilarating risk of losing everything in a single humiliating moment. My throat hurts. I don't really have a good outro for this one. Mod this game, it's really good. Thanks for making it this far, and as always, subscribe to my fucking YouTube channel.